minutes is enough lag time. All right, everybody. Welcome. Today is April 21st, 2022. This is a Kubernetes SIG architecture community meeting, and let's get going. I think we just have, I checked a minute ago, we just had one thing on the agenda, which is to hear from Rianne on the conformance subproject readout. So take it away.
Thank you very much. Yeah, so this is a readout for basically the end of the current release 124. So we landed 16 endpoints that did not have conformance test in this release. Now with conformance, 12 points from service proxy, which came quite a long way to get that landed, but that's in. For template 1 endpoint and batch job status endpoints, 3 endpoints. We had 4 more in the queue, but they, because of a bug with annotations that we assumed that annotations would be available when we tried to promote it flagged, but that's already fixed and merged, and the promotion PR is sitting in the queue the moment the code thaw comes up. We come out of code thaw, we can merge those. So that's perfect, which will give us 4 more on the list. Then API Snoop, we continue to monitor API Snoop. So we picked up 1 endpoint that due to some changes, there was a test that was lost.
Sorry, Rianne,
yes.
Would you mind displaying? I think there was some things you had on the agenda, some graphs and things.
Sorry, good point. I'm not sure if I can share. Or if you just share the agenda,
okay. Okay.
Either make me co-host, or you can just share the. Sorry, it makes. I'm looking at it on my desktop. It would be useful for the video.
All right, you can host now.
All right, let me share that desktop there. That should be visible now. All right. So yeah, I went through the 16 endpoints that we got. Then API Snoop, there was 1 lost test. So we continually monitor to make sure that we do not lose any ground. So due to a change to another test, we lost this endpoint. Probably within 24 hours, Jordan picked it up and fixed it. So thanks to Jordan for fixing that. And then 2 endpoints because of log handler and list handler has been made ineligible because they're tooling endpoints, all with requirements. So then 8 storage endpoints came into GA with just before code freeze or test freeze. So that's when well. So we ended the release with 45 endpoints remaining without conformance test. And at the moment, it still looked good to get it all caught by the end of 2022, or at least the first quarter of the next release. It is harder, it's slower. We already have a PR coming for 3 more endpoints I can't remember off the top of my head. There's 3 more endpoints coming for which we already have a test. So we're really pushing it to get to the end of things by the end of the year. Looking at the API Snoop graph, you'll see we still got strongly up in the right. The gray area is still what we need to cover, which is we're almost there. API Snoop, the sunburst, you'll see that we've basically, those batch endpoints, the 4 there that is not fully dark, they will be tested soon. Then we have apps is a resource quota. We're busy working on resource quota endpoints. We hope to land those in the next release. And so we're busy filling in all these small gaps and just going to have some core left properly by the next release if things all go well. Any questions? Any thoughts?
I just wanted to thank you, Jan. That was great. And I'm really glad we're making good progress. I think a few points for the folks here from our last meeting. And one is that as Rianne, I think, said, we're getting to the set of technical debt that's more difficult to address because of various, either the tests, issues with the tests, or just various confusion about whether the test framework can actually support it and whether they should be in conformance. So the progress may not keep a pace as what we've had because of that. In the last call, we had a pretty extensive discussion about some of the endpoints, and Rian raised a couple of issues. I don't know if those are linked in the agenda, but if they're not, please put them in there, Rian. Folks should comment on those. And Clayton, I know you weren't there in the last call, but I think that based on looking at your comment that Rian, I think, linked in one of those issues, I think we're pretty well aligned around like the challenges around things like the node API, and you know, I wasted a lot of time a few years ago trying to get this profile stuff in. I'm not sure I really want to pick up anything like that again, but we're starting to get to this area where we have a lot of kind of optional things, or more challenging, I guess, items, and we have to decide probably what to do about those. So please take a look at those issues, and we can debate them there. I don't know that there's people aren't necessarily have it all swapped in right now to debate it here, but those issues raise those pretty well.
I have the links. The first one is resource quota, which we expected might not, but actually this week we started making good progress on resource quota. So so the first 3 endpoints that's coming in is for resource quota, and the resource quota status is the next one, which turned out to be a little sticky, but Stephen is busy working on that. So any comments on that? And it's eligible. We trust now it is eligible. The next one that I'll drop is where we believe it should not be eligible. Clayton, you already did give us quite a good amount of feedback. I'll drop that in the chat as well. If I can find the chat again, there we are. And that is for node status, and some thoughts on that. If anybody want to comment, I'll appreciate. And then, as John says, it's not a question of we don't want to finish the work and just try and make everything ineligible. All the best ones has been taken properly. All the worst ones has been left in the jar. So we're busy working at those now. So we will get all these questions. Is this still eligible? So please be patient and boldly comment and help to move the things off the list that need not be there.
Okay. Any other questions on this, or I think we've finished our agenda and we can get a little bit of time back.
I don't have anything specific as such.
Thanks, John.
John.
Okay. Awesome.
Yeah, one sec. Something comes to mind. So you couldn't make it to the PRR meeting yesterday, John, and there was something during the. I don't know who here made it to the PRR meeting yesterday. Anyone?
I did. Yeah.
Yeah. So John, so Elana is stepping down. So we have to figure out what to do about PRR per se. So that's the only thing that I can think of. Yeah.
I chatted with her on Slack earlier, so yeah, she let me know. So that's a bummer because she's been her contributions have been really, really helpful. So I'm bummed. But we definitely probably want to recruit some more participants because the load grew over the last year, and now with one less person, that's going to be
right,
another more weight on a few of us, and plus it's just better to have more opinions. So
absolutely.
So anybody out there who's interested, we would love to have you in the PRR, and it's generally not too demanding, except right around
right,
enhancement freeze. Those couple of weeks get intense, but the rest of the time it's not too bad.
Well, I see Kirsten and Andrew here, so Lubomir too. So hey guys.
Just curious, John, and PRR centralized was good. Do we feel like maybe any appetite to distribute it back out to the SIGs now that we have kind of like a well-defined template and kind of process, or is that not something that we don't feel pressured to explore at this time?
I mean, we definitely want people in the SIGs to hold that bar, and then that makes it really easy for us. I think it's worth exploring, but I don't have right now clarity on whether beyond the template, following the template, you know, some of the pieces we're looking for are things like how it might affect other components that aren't necessarily the domain of that given SIG. So I think it's a good question, and the more we can put in the SIGs, the better. I'm not super concerned yet, but we should probably discuss it. Anybody else have thoughts on that, or we want to table that to the next PRR meeting?
Do you have like regular meetings, or do you only meet during like the PRR cycle? So I was just looking at the sub-project doc.
Yeah, we have regular meetings, but they're often, you know, they're spottier around that, except around that time. But there are things we do, like we're running an annual survey, which we're going to be putting out shortly. It's ready to go. Just have to do that, and try to then analyze the results and compare that to what we, you know, hoping to see impact for the work that we're doing or the process that's been implemented. And then we have retrospectives to see how it went, to maybe make refinements or changes to the questionnaire. But other than that, there's not a lot of regular business. We don't get a lot of pings from people during the entire cycle. It's really just in that 2 to 4 weeks before enhancement freeze that we really get a lot of pings. And you know, so that's when most of the work is.
So it's like the tax season, but 3 times a year.
Yeah, exactly.
Right, Clayton. Okay, let's wrap it up for today then.
Okay, let's wrap it up. And I think it's a good point. Maybe for our next PRR, we'll put it on the agenda to see like what would it take to completely move it to the SIGs, or do we think it's feasible? And if it is, what would it take to do that? That's a good idea.
Yeah, and not a strong pressure for me, John, on that. I was just wondering if we want to use a rotation point as a reflection point to say why not or why as is. Yeah. And I think maybe the other thing we do is just make a point in every SIG call going forward that we're at to kind of give a call to action to see if folks want to take part in the process that might not have been aware of it before.
The only other thing I can think of, Derek, is you know, for each SIG to cough up a name that we can use to you know, get help during the time that we need it. That's the only thing I can think of. Like if you want to call out specifically, it could be the TLs for each SIG should be available for consultation when we need them, right?
Yeah, it's not
all sorts of strategies. I guess I was just didn't mean to distract, and I'm happy to give everybody back their time. I know Dim's tried to give it back, and then he threw this topic on here. So
I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'll just say one more thing. We will get time back in a minute. Yeah. You know, we look at our API review process, our API approval process. We've got a long list of reviewers and a very small list of approvers, which is a concern, right? And so we're kind of moving in that same direction, which is like not a great. I mean, the API approval process is fine and all, but like it's not a good position to be in where there's just a handful of people that have that much weight on them. Not, you know, it just for the health of the project. So we either need to figure out a way probably to broaden those pools at both of those layers, or well, yeah. So anyway, those are things we should be thinking about, I guess, as we move forward. That's all I'll say. And let's enjoy 40 minutes back.
Bye, everyone.
Thank you.